Now, South America, of course, is no stranger to organized crime, but the big driver of South American organized crime is narcotics, and particularly the cocaine industry. That, of course, is in part a consequence of the United States war on drugs, which was inaugurated in its present form in the early 70s by President Nixon. Personally, I think the war on drugs over that 50-year or so, 40-year or so period has been a demonstrable failure as a policy, and that we have to rethink it. And one of the aspects of failure for me is the devastation that this has wrought in South America, particularly in Colombia, but increasingly in Mexico, Brazil, Peru, Bolivia, Chile, which are all used either as producer or transit countries for cocaine. So I wanted to look and see in Colombia that what that has done to the whole political and economic structure of Colombia. What shocked me there was I discovered that only 3% of Colombia's economy is accounted for by the cocaine industry. And yet that 3% is sufficient to sustain about 60,000 men under arms in private military forces, whether FARC rebels or right-wing paramilitaries. And that is without counting the Colombian army and special police forces. So it's a hugely militarized society because of cocaine. But what astonished me still further in Brazil was, as I was doing this, I uncovered the other big criminal operation in South America, which is cybercrime. And Brazil, and Sao Paulo in particular, which I visited, is one of the great world centers of cybercrime, along with Russia, China, and India. And there are very specific reasons that I uncovered as to why these countries, which are powerful emerging markets with a good education system and access to the internet, why they are becoming the centers of what is an extraordinary battle, almost an arms race, between the internet security industry and the criminals. And on the whole, the criminals are always ahead. And this is the biggest industry of all. This is rising, not the biggest, but it's rising at a faster rate than anything else. So that now annual losses to the banks from cybercrime stands at about £50 billion. And if you think that the narcotics industry is between 200 and 250 billion pounds a year, then you see the scale of the problem as it rises up as a very popular way of making money.